Are we in sync? That's it. Lovely.
Greetings, one and all. This is Lloyd Brown giving full endorsement to the station with integrity, the station with a difference. Remember me tell you, Lloyd Brown says so. Full endorsement. We now stop till we drop. Saying bless.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We are back here for another edition of Let's Talk About It. This is the platform where we normalize talking about mental health, something which, seems to be something which is not done, especially in the Black community, but also in society in general, as I, have seen. Since the last show, sadly, there has been a lot of deaths, especially amongst young people. I can count, I think, just under 10 deaths so far by suicide. And this says to me that this show is absolutely relevant. We need to normalize talking about it, and that's what this platform is all about. So we're here today. And we're going to have a guest on whom Sharon is going to introduce. However, before we begin, we're just going to introduce ourselves very quickly. And then Sharon will introduce herself, and then the podcast will introduce themselves. And then we shall just get on with the program, okay? So I'm 10 Star General. I'm one of the founders of this podcast. And one of the reasons why I do this is because we really need to normalize talking amongst each other. We need unity. We need that one love. We need to be more, sensitive to what other people are going through. I'm really happy that I'm doing this, and this has become a platform where we want to normalize that interaction. Anybody's going through something, you can come to us. You can say whatever you need to say. You're not going to be ridiculed, which is very important, and we're trying to create that safe place, I'm going to move over to Sharon. Sharon, introduce yourself, please.
Greetings and blessings to one and all in the room. Thank you guys so much for joining. I am the other co-founder of this podcast, and mental health has been a big thing for 10 Star and I, that we need to normalize talking about it. So I want to say, first and foremost, my little disclaimer is this: we at Sprb Radio do not proclaim to be professionals. We are not experts. We are bringing awareness to mental health and giving everybody a safe platform to speak their truth and let us know how they're going through their situation, etc., etc. However, again, we do have a couple of experts who are trained in mental health and all aspects of mental health. So I want that to be known. We do not claim to be experts. We're bringing awareness. So once everybody understands and realizes that, we're good. I also want to say 10 Star said something in the very beginning, that if there is anybody here in the chat that has not gone through therapy due to their own stresses, I do not recommend you sitting in and listening, because we do not want you to be triggered by anything that you hear. Any guest that has come onto this show or will be coming onto the show has sought out help and are working through their struggles. So that is very important. We do not want anybody to be triggered. Just, if this is not for you, please do not sit in on this podcast. We're going to go around the room and our team. I'm going to go to you, DJ Maestro. Introduce yourself.
Yes, Sharon, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is DJ Maestro, and I'm part of this unique, powerful team that I was invited to. So yes, it's all about it's all a learning curve for most of us. As Sharon said, we're not experts, but if there's anything we can do to help others whether it's family member or friend or just anyone on that we may know. This is a good platform, for obviously to learn about and for them to come on and speak their mind and just be comfortable. And that's what we're trying to do. And it's as Ten Star said in the beginning, and I don't want to go on yet, but it's really right on the rise. So we need to address the elephant in the room, as they say. So it's all good. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Next we have Beverly Notes is on. Beverly, introduce yourself, please.
Greetings, good night all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, my name is Beverly Notes, and I'm a part of this podcast team, and I feel so honored to be a part of it. Mental health is something that we see on a daily basis, and many go through on a daily basis, and it's not a simple thing to go through. It's very difficult, especially if people do not understand what you're going through, what you've even been through, and what you probably are going to go through. Having this condition, it is a condition, but as long as you condition yourself to do better and overcome it, we're here to stand with you to do that. Okay, thank you all.
Well, thank you, Beverly. That was actually well said. Rankinan, are you there?
Greetings everybody. My name is Rankinan, part of the SPRB podcast team. And this is a place for people to feel free to speak about mental health issues without judgment, without fear. And it's such an important thing for people to feel able to speak out. As we know, the whole thing about depression and suicide, it has reached pandemic levels right across the globe. And we just need more people to be saying how they feel, what they're experiencing, and being able to reach an understanding ear, someone that can understand them and just hear them, because sometimes all people need is to be heard. So this platform is definitely for a place to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Keisha Martin.
Hey, greetings everyone. My name is Keisha Martin. I am a singer, songwriter, also someone who has experienced mental health firsthand because I suffer from
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Your internet, Keisha.
Can you hear me now? No, the phone rang. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, as you know, there's no cure for depression. If you've experienced it, it's always going to be a part of who you are. There's so many ways to navigate, and in this platform, I'm honored to be a part of it, to be able to just share. Some people have different coping mechanisms. For me, music has been that outlet for me that's helped me through tough times. I've been suicidal. Nobody would really normally know that about me because I don't speak about it, because don't ask, don't tell. It's not just pretty much what it is. You put on virtue and just live your life. But I'm honored to be a part of a space that I can speak freely and hopefully help someone who may be listening, or vice versa, maybe sharing their experience and outlets or mechanisms that how they get through and how they, navigate through their mental health issues. So I'm just here and I'm honored, like I said, to just be a part of this team. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
so much.
Now let me find out. I'm not sure if Galaxy is Gloria in Nigeria.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I think maybe.
Is that Gloria? Gloria?
Or is that you? Galaxy Tab A?
Maybe not. Not responding. Okay. So I know they're going for an election in Nigeria right now, so it could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, so let's crack on. So we have Star Mayo. Star.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Star. Good evening.
Hi, it's good to be here. I'm a fairly new member to the team, and just like what everyone has just said, you know, I just want to thank you to everyone who's spoken up, and because everything that you've said is so valid. You know, we need to start normalizing mental health. It's something that we don't speak about in our communities. You know, there's a lot of trauma, there's lots of mental health. And I heard Sharon talk and say, we're not specialists, we are. Because I think just that starting to have a platform to say, this is what I've gone through is very, very valid and it's very important. Right. And I think if you look at mental health, that is the mental health and trauma, that is the start of recovery when we start actually owning our feelings, what we've gone through. Right. But actually, what I'll also say is, you know, we need to be very careful in terms of actually what we share. We need to be prepared as well in what we actually receive, because things that we've all gone through are some of the things that we might also at the back of our minds, because it's something that we don't talk about within our communities, is something that could have actually happened to you and you've actually not chosen to, or just didn't have that space to sort of unpack it, make sense of it. But I would say after this show, if anyone, because you can never be prepared of what you're going to hear and how that's going to affect you, you know, speak to someone, because what we're doing on this show is starting to unpack of who we are, things that have happened to us in our childhood, in our life, that maybe we've not shared with anyone. So really, really happy, very excited to be here. And yeah, let's crack on.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you, Star. Yes.
Anybody we missed? I don't think so, right?
No.
Okay.
Dr. Tony will be logging on shortly. She's on the move. I can see her movement. She should be logging on, but Dr. Grant will be on shortly.
Okay. So let's crack on. Over to you, Sharon.
All right. So our guest this evening is a long time friend of mine who's when I was going through my trauma, my stresses, my depression, this individual came to my house and took me out my house and made sure I was out of my house and not sitting in my room, and just because I had shut off from the world, and he wasn't trying to hear it. And he came and got me, and we'd go out to eat, we'd go to talk, he would listen. This man was there for me, even when I didn't even know I needed that help. I just thought, I'm just going to shut everything off, and I needed it more than he could possibly imagine. And I thank him all the time. It's basically been a 30-year friendship, and I didn't know. We had lost touch over the course of time because he moved from New Jersey to Portland, and I had no idea. I had no idea what he was going through, none whatsoever, until I decided. I kept digging up for phone numbers. Something was pushing me, find him, find him, find him. And when I did find him, we were basically just crying because I couldn't believe all the trauma that he went through. I could have never known. So we talk all the time. And when we started this show, when we started doing the mental health show, and I talked to him about it, I said, I think that you'd be great to come on if you're ready to tell your story, because he has sought help. He is going in through his own recovery, but is willing to share his story. So everybody, please welcome. It's Jeff Rose, and literally his name is Rose, last name, but we call him Red Rose because he had like red hair, okay, just so you know. Red Rose. I introduce you all. Everybody, welcome him to the platform. He's here to tell us his story. Jeff, I don't never
Thank
call
you.
him Rose. Yes. Yes.
First off, it's an honor to be here. Thank you all for having me. Yeah, I've gone through my mental health issues, continue to go through them. You know, I have daily challenges. Because I've gone through them, I'm able to look at other people and see their needs as well, and thought that, well, I should do something to help them. So I became what's known as a peer wellness specialist, PWS, with concentration in adult addictions in the state of Oregon. And my certification is good through 2025. Yeah, that has been extremely rewarding, but at the same time, I find that I need to for an analogy, put your mask on first on the airplane and then take care of others. So you have to be, your tank has to be gassed up for you to be able to take care of others. You know, that's something that is a challenge. Yeah. In the past, one of the things that was one of the greatest gifts to me was music, and reggae music at that. I still play it on a daily basis, but there's days where I find I don't get as much enjoyment out of it. And then I have to go searching what's going on. Yeah. So I don't know where we kind of lead from here. If
Well,
you
tell
have questions or.
Well, tell us what you went through. I mean, you basically just told us that, you know,
yeah,
through everything
I
that you
don't
went
wanna
through where
get-
you are now.
I don't want to get too graphic.
Right. And you don't have to get graphic, but just say what happened.
There were a lot of things that I had kind of packed away that happened as preteen to late teens in my life, where people had tried to take advantage of me, and that never actually happened. But these people had tried to over 6 different times. That is something that I still struggle with. Those dreams coming back, visualizations, being angry at those people for taking over part of my life. But I've gotten to the point where those episodes that have happened don't own me. They were a moment in my life, and this is where we are, and we're going forward. I struggle with chronic depression, as well as what's called conversion disorder. And that's kind of hard to unbox. I've had a lot of head trauma, and the head trauma has brought out concussions and whatnot, have brought out a lot of things that have happened in the past that I purposely packed away in the back of my brain for decades, and was like, you know, if I pack these away, they can't hurt me. Once they came out, it was ugly. And then it had been probably the last 5 years where I've really been working on recovery. However, I've been in therapy for over 3 decades. The early part, when I was in therapy, I felt I was just going through the motions. I wasn't really getting anything out of it. They were putting me on different medications and whatnot. I'm not a huge fan of all the medication, but I guess it works for some people. I've gotten to the point where I'm not ashamed of my battles, what I've had to go through. You know, early on in therapy, they suggested that I might try group therapy, and I kind of gave the middle finger to that and was like, no, not me. I don't need that. Better than that. I can figure this out myself. I think once I eventually did try group therapy, there was kind of a light that went off, and that was only in the last 5 years. I was kind of like, wait, I'm not the only one going through this. And once you find out you're not the only one, you hear other people's stories. It gives your story more power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us about the head trauma though, because when you and I had the conversation, like how did the head trauma come about?
I had a couple concussions. One in particular, I fell off a bed and hit my head on the end of the bedpost. I was having a seizure, and they didn't find out till afterwards that I had this conversion disorder and all this. The head trauma helped to bring a lot of this out. It was kind of a catalyst, if you'd say, to say, it kind of spiked the punch. Without the head trauma, I may still have that stuff packed away in the back of my brain. You know, currently I have a battery in my back and a nerve stimulator in the back of my head for the seizures and headaches. and it's been working. You know, and it helps with depression as well. So, but everybody goes through, you know, their own mental health journey, and you could have 10 different people could have head traumas and bring out past incidents from their life that were traumas, but it's also how you handle it. You know, and what you decide to do with that once it's unboxed. It was terrifying for me in the beginning. I went to a mental health hospital for 6 days. This was a facility that was locked down, where you're basically almost like a jail, but you have a lot more rights than in jail. You know, they're there to supposedly try and help you, but at the same time, I saw a lot of what seemed like injustices there. And there were other people that were because of the facility slowly starting to open up, and it was a good thing for some people. You know, it's all about how you react and present, and yeah.
So you went to the facility because, did you enter yourself, or did somebody suggest that you go to this mental health facility?
I entered myself, but I had no idea. I was going through, I knew that I needed real help at the moment. And people were calling the house and whatnot. My sister came and she brought the police, and which only made things worse. I already had PTSD because of incidents with police in the past. And yeah, it was kind of suggested that this was an option, and I kind of jumped at it because I didn't know what else to do. But they weren't that willing to help initially. You know, my provider, my mental health provider at the time said, you know, you just need to call this number up and they'll be more than happy to do an intake with you and you'll get right in and this and that. I call and they're like, oh, well, it could be like a month or so. I'm losing my mind. I feel like the walls are closing in. You know, I don't have any options. So basically I lied at that point. I said that I was suicidal. And when I got there, they took me, at that point, they were willing to take me in. And an ambulance took me in And when I got there, after 3 hours, a nurse came over and said, "Honey, you were never suicidal, were you?" I said, "No, ma'am, I wasn't. But I didn't know how else to get help. I knew that I needed help, but nobody would listen to me. And nobody would, reach out and give me that help." And then they were like, "We're here. What's going on? How can we help you?" There were groups there that I felt were very helpful. I felt after 6 days, I wasn't really ready to be released. But it was what it was, they looked at how I was doing. They said that I was 100% better from when I came in to the 6th day, and kicked me out. I didn't know where I was going to be living after that. So I was basically homeless. I went to a friend of mine's restaurant shop and told him, what had basically happened. And he said, "I'm calling your brother-in-law. We're gonna make sure that you have a place to stay, the next couple nights, and we're gonna figure this out." My brother-in-law was a great help throughout this. My sister, on the other hand, after she brought the cops, she didn't want anything else to do with me, and still doesn't. But
Wow.
that's how families are. They can be challenging.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
The dynamics. Yeah. So it's been a struggle. I'm in low income housing now. Previously I had an entire floor in a house with my mother. And I love my mother to death, but she was basically trying to control too much. And doctors explained to me that it was basically because of my mother that I developed the seizures. They were stress-induced seizures. I don't blame her at this point. Before I did, it was a long road. We've only my mama and I were not talking for a couple of years, and my brother-in-law said, "How would you feel about starting a relationship again with your mother?" And I said, "Actually, I would love to." and it's still in the infantile stages of rekindling that relationship. We see each other probably twice a week for a couple hours, but we try and keep it where things won't trigger me. Although the last time she had mentioned a couple things that did trigger me. I didn't tell her. I just kind of swallowed it, took it home, and tried to work it out. But now I know I have to go back to her and say, look, when you bring up this particular person's name, because that affects me negatively, because of things that they did to me in the past. Yeah. And she's not doing it out of malice or anything. It's just, you know, basic conversation. This person's name's coming out, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. 10-star.
Wow, there's quite a bit to. It sounds like one situation leads on to another when it comes to your situation and what you're going through. Now, you mentioned something which I was trying to understand. I was trying to do a little bit of searching, but my internet's kind of slow. You mentioned something. Let me get the wording properly.
The conversion, what you
Conversion something, yeah.
Conversion disorder?
Conversion disorder.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't understand the entire all aspects of conversion disorder, but it has to do with the concussion, the seizures, and that bringing out past traumas.
Right.
Yeah.
So before this show, were you able to interact with anybody about what you were going through?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was that going for you at the time? The fact that you were able to confide in someone.
It's great. I see 3 different professionals. I see a peer, a counselor, and a psychiatrist. And, you know, sometimes they all have different opinions, but yeah, just being able to kind of throw up on them and say, you know, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. These triggers are making me feel this way. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they can lead me to exercises. They can lead me to different types of therapies. Yeah.
So you've been on this for 3 decades now, right?
Oh yeah. But I'd say only the last 5 years have I been fully invested.
I'm with you now. Okay. Let me.
I was just going through the motions before.
When did you decide that it's time for me to dig my heels in and take this serious? What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Being in the straw that broke the camel's back was being in the mental health facility for the 6 days. When I came out of that, I enrolled myself in about 8 or 9 different groups. I took it like a job. I was at the mental health facility, I think every day.
Right.
For different groups. And then my one-on-one sessions, and I wanted to do everything I could to produce a better me.
Right.
A me that that I was happier about.
Right. I'm with you. And the fact that you were able to come on this show and share your story to a wider audience, across the world, speaks volumes about where you're at mentally,
Yeah.
Before we go any further, I think it's important for us to bring in Star.
Yeah.
And I would love to ask Star, what were you able to unpack listening to Red Rose?
Wow. I think for me, the first thing is just to for you to appreciate and recognize the resilience that you have as a person, especially with everything that you've gone through. You're still standing. The challenges are still there. And I'm not going to lie to say they ever go away. But I think for me, what struck me the most is the steps that you're taking to own them. Own them, but not let it own you. I think that's the most important thing. And I think when you talked about the conversion disorder, I was actually just trying to unpack that on its own, because I think there's quite a few things going on here. When you talk about the epilepsy, when you talk about the trauma, there's just no doubt that these things are all interlinked, because with the epilepsy, once you're stressed, that can bring up conversions as well, quite more. They become more, and at that time, I've got no doubt that's when the trauma comes, all the flashbacks, they're not sleeping, and it just becomes a vicious circle. But I think for me, it's well done to you for actually taking some steps and actually finding the help that you felt you needed at the time. Because I heard you talking about the counselor and talking about the psychiatrist. All these people are going to be quite valid in your recovery, but the person who's on the driving seat of that is yourself. And everything that you're talking about, taking courses, even all the the exercises that you're doing, all of that, and now even taking it a step further by just talking about it. Because I think what people don't realize with trauma, when you talk about it, that's when you process situations. And I've got no doubt, even actually in every conversation that you have and retelling your story, you are a step forward. That's what you need to take away from this, that it's not easy. It hurts, because this is your life. This is what happened to you. It's not just a story that you're telling us. It's what happened to you. But what I want to reassure you is you've got the help that you need around you. But actually, when you are telling that story, you will be actually able to, at some point, when you start telling it, and actually feel detached from it, because you you are becoming a different person from who you were before. I think for me, that's just what I want to take, for everyone to sort of, and, take away from this, just to sort of say, I just cannot imagine what you've gone through, but the resilience that you have. And some days, it's not going to be easy. Those flashbacks, those memories are going to be stronger, but it's about what you do about it. Talking to someone, reaching out to your therapist, and just doing what you've been doing because it seems it works for you. And actually telling people around you how you want to be treated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Star.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
I wanted to bring in Dr. Tony, but I don't think she's here, is she?
No, she's not here yet. I'm trying to reach her right now, and she's en route. She's in Brooklyn, so
let's come to some of the podcast team first and foremost, and see if there's any words of motivation, inspiration that they may want to offer on to Red Rose. Who would like to go first? DJ Maestro.
Yeah. Red Rose. I was just listening this in awe of what you've gone through in the last 30 years, man. It's a privilege to be here to listen to the things, the struggles that you've gone through. You're as I say, day by day, probably hour by hour, that you're going through something. But it seems that to me you're a fighter, because you're, as Star said, you are here, you're telling your story, and I can only applaud you for that, man, because not everybody is going to want to tell their story, because people find it embarrassing. But it's a pandemic, man. It's rising all the time. So, just listen to you. I think even you're helping yourself. I'm sure your story is going to help so many people just listening to it, because for me, you're a trooper, man. You're a soldier, and it's just good to sit here and see your face and see, what you've been through. That you said that 6 days you was in that mental institute. I mean, that must have been, I don't know, that it just sounds like hell. But I think you come through the other side, and you are making steps, whether it's just big strides to be where you are today, man. So I salute you, brother. Just keep on your path. Keep on your path, day by day, and it's gonna get. It can only get better from here, my man. You reconcile with your mum. That's a big factor. Family members is a big factor as far as I'm concerned. So all the love and the blessings to you, man, and keep on going. Keep on going. All right, Red Rose. Blessings, man.
Thank you, DJ Maestro. I don't know if there's anybody else from the podcast team who may want to offer words of motivation, inspiration, whatever. Go ahead, Gloria.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, is that Gloria? Sorry,
Go ahead, Gloria.
Someone wanted to speak. Go ahead.
Oh, you got the floor. You got the floor. Go ahead, and then we'll come to the next person.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Gloria.
Hi, Red Rose. I find you an amazing person. You're very strong.
Thank you.
Now, I'll zoom into where I was really impressed with your story, you reconciling with your mother and all of that. I can relate through other people's stories, your story. And I want to say again, you are truly amazing in the whole process. Now, I just want to tip in a little advice. That thing that triggers when you're with your mom and you don't want to hear is the demon you need to face. And how do you face that demon? Whatever it is, that whatever pain, whatever trauma, whatever what's the word? Whatever movie plays back in your head, the truth is no counselor, no one's going to do it but you. You're going to add to everything you've done forgiveness. You're going to have to just wipe that, like totally delete, because you see, it's a trigger. It was like you were talking and I was writing everything you were saying and I underlined trigger. Now, if you keep letting whatever that is trigger, your win is mad. You're winning, but that thing keeps triggering. So it wants to take you back. And until you forgive, and that's why I'm saying just add forgiveness. Some things are very painful. Some things seem unforgettable. I was watching an amazing story. I'm sure everybody here has probably watched it, of someone who came and hugged someone who shot the brother. I don't know what I watched like a few days ago in court. To come to court and say you forgive your brother's killer. I mean, that thing, I noticed it went like worldwide. But the thing is, he didn't forgive because he wanted to make news. He forgave because if he didn't do, I learned something from that whole episode that, man, if this guy didn't forgive this woman, he would have gone crazy. That would have driven him crazy. So sometimes forgiveness is for ourselves, not for whoever is causing that name, whoever that person, whatever that person has done that's causing you the trigger. So like I said, you're amazing. You've done brilliantly. Just add forgiveness. No matter what that person has done, if you can try to delete it from your system, you'll see that you'll just be having a jolly time with your mom. No matter what she says, you're just focused on having a good time and living peacefully. God bless you, boss.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. And I totally agree with her on what she says.
Yeah.
Just like yourself, Red Rose, I've been there. And, the mere fact that I was able to forgive certain people in my life who were very, very close to me, I was able to move forward and get over it. But forgiving means you have to forgive from the belly of your heart. It means when you come face to face with them and certain words that trigger you off have no effect on you no more. You have to find that secret thing that is going to take you to that place of forgiveness so that you can move forward. And I can tell you that if I can do it, I know you can do it. The mere fact that you're still standing, you're here, is testimony to how strong you are and how far you've come and how far you are still going to get to. You're going to look back in 5 years, you're going to be amazed by yourself at what you've done for yourself. I want to come to Rankin Ann, please. Rankin Ann, please, if you would.
Yes, yeah. Red Rose, thank you for sharing, your journey, your experience, because that in itself takes a lot of strength, And I just want to say that you are stronger than you know. What you've told us shows the level of resilience that you have, that inner strength that you have to have taken you through the last 30 years of what you've been through. And I think it's all credit to you for the steps that you've taken. And I particularly want to sort of congratulate you on saying that even though for 3 decades you were kind of trying to help yourself, but the investment you put in the last 5 years, that has been the thing that's really kind of taken you to the point where you are now. Because often when people have been through like a long journey of mental illness, they just feel that, gosh, it's gone on so long, it's never going to change, it's always the same. Then, but you've seen that, you know, you've been through it for a long time, and then suddenly in the last 5 years, you've put the work in, and I'm going to say well done to you for that. And I mean, I think that's a real example that people can take that have been through, you know, long-term, you know, mental health issues, is that it's never too late to step up, you know, and really try and maybe just do something more consistently and really invest in your health and your mental health, which is what you've done. So well done for that. And also I want to say to you, well done for being able to assert yourself and being able to say to your mum that certain things, you know, were just no, please don't say that or talk about that. Because I think sometimes with family, especially our parents, we allow them to push the boundaries, push the limit beyond where they should be pushing it. And it takes a lot of strength to say to a parent, no, I'm not going to entertain that. I'm not going to allow you to grind me down with your words or your deed or action. So I just want to say well done for that. And I think in doing that, and, you know, your mum respecting, you know, what, you know, the line that you've drawn, then, you know, as Gloria said about forgiveness, that will come when people begin to respect, you know, who you are, you know, and what you're trying to, you know, achieve, then, yeah, the forgiveness will come. So I just want to say, you know, Red Rose, you know, you have done, as everyone has said, you've done tremendously. And I think, you know, what you've shared today can really help other people, you know, who have been through a similar long journey. And yes, you know, it's an everyday journey. Some days are going to be better than other days. Some days are going to be harder than other days, but you've got your tool belt now. You've got your toolkit. So, you know, a certain day you'll dig and take out a different tool for a different experience. So well done to you, and, you know, all the love in the world for the rest of your journey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rankin Ann. And is there anybody else from the podcast team who wants to say anything? If not, we shall move on. Anybody else? Give me 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay.
That was fast. All right then.
Okay. Well, I want to applaud you again for coming on, Red Rose. I know that Sharon is in contact with you, and Sharon represents all of us. And, you know, I know Sharon will stay in contact and ensure that you're in a great place, you know. I also want to tell you that, you know, if ever you want to speak to me also, you got a brother right here.
Respect.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's...
I think you two will be talking anyway, because music powers us all. And when I tell you this friend, I said, I think the two of you would get on very well when it comes to your music, because he has some collections.
Listen,
so, yeah.
Earlier on, I played My Sweet Lord. And if you see the way he started to bossa move, that he knew his stuff.
I'm just about to book my plane ticket to go over to see Red Rose and delve into his and take away his collection.
You can,
Listen, he has a collection like none other. I promise you that. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? Enough for him to even share with me. I have stuff he's given me from when we first met, albums and
right.
Amazing individual.
So how do you feel now that you've shared your story with, you know, our platform? How does it make you feel?
You know, I got to be honest. Beforehand, I was kind of nervous for 5 days. Like, how the hell is this going to go? What am I going to talk about? I feel like I'm going to throw up. Now I feel like there's a weight that's been lifted off my shoulders. Every time that I express my story, that weight comes off my shoulders. Yeah.
Right. So, anytime you want to express yourself, even if you can't find, I'm pretty sure you can find someone you must be able to find someone to talk to, because you got Sharon Mango at your
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. It's me.
Share my number with him as well.
Oh, I
Sharon.
will. Yeah, I will. I honestly will. I'm grateful that he even said in the back, and I spoke to him last night, and he played it off very well. So he's like, oh, so 10:30 tomorrow morning? Yes, 10:30 your time, because we're on different, time zones. Did not sound like he was nervous. He sounded like he was ready. And I said, listen, I was trying to make it easy for him. Like, look, if you don't want to be on camera, we're fine with that. No, I think I'm going to be on camera. So I was even proud of him to do that. But to hear him say he feels like, another portion of the weight's been lifted off his shoulders, makes me feel good, because coming into this, you had no idea how this was going to go. This is not a platform where we sit and grill you. We're going to let you tell your story, because your story is going to help somebody else. You of yourself you've taken courses to even understand certain things, understanding the levels of mental health. You went and did courses so you could help other people. That's big. That speaks volumes. That means that you have, just like Star said, just like Rankin said, everybody's saying, you're not letting the mental health define you or own you. You now own it. So you now have how to control it. It is not a situation now, whereas you don't have your good days and bad days. That's across the board. All of us do. But it's how you deal with it going forward. And you definitely have your tools. Rankin said, you got your toolkit. That's imperative. You got a toolkit. You know what I mean? You're just in a position now. And I know for sure where Rose lives out in Portland, the mental health situation is bad.
I can imagine. It
is
right?
Bad. I'm telling you, I went there. And if you think you have seen homeless people, if you think you've seen homeless people, go to Portland. It's right in your face, right down and I'm saying lines of people, just different little huddles. It's deep.
Yeah. I have tents right outside my building. I have homeless people that are sleeping at the bus stop, and it's freezing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can only imagine what those people are going through. Why are they where they are now? It's big.
Yeah. And those are a lot of the people that I've worked with since I've gotten certified, and I've tried to help some of them get off substances, tried to get housing for some. That's when I feel that I'm really thriving, that I can help others. But like I said in the beginning, I have to remember to keep the tank full.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to take care of myself before I can take care of others.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's something that Star Mayo was saying to
I was about to say
Darren and I a couple of days. I want to come to Star if I can before we end this podcast. And one of the questions I have for Star, if she's there, is how important is it for us to be able to speak to each other? Because and the reason why I mentioned that is because social media is becoming a very, very toxic place to be. And I just want to make mention, as far as I'm concerned, social media is not indicative of what everybody is like, right? There are some people who may be willing to listen to your story or show some sort of sensitivity or empathy, whatever that word is, you know. I've recently had to come off Facebook because I realized that it was messing with my brain. And when I say messing with my brain, I'm seeing every other word is like somebody fighting against someone, or racism on the rise. The minute someone stands up for himself, it's like there's a gang of trolls coming on you, you know? And rather than me get into a full-blown war on social media with some idiots, you know, I said, it's time to shut Facebook down. But also there's the important part, which is there's people who are out there who are committing suicide because they think they're alone. And the importance of us reaching out to the right people. I just wanted to mention that. How important is that?
I think it's very important. We need to continue talking. And, you know, there is some evidence out there, especially when it comes to trauma, that says that the first thing as a step to recovery is talking. And I think this is a contained platform that I think, you know, by sharing stories, by people coming to talk, you don't realize how much people are actually benefiting from that. And if you can actually quote on what Red Rose said, he feels as if some weight has been lifted off his shoulders by just talking. So if people are saying that, I think that's some of your evidence that this is needed. But as a sort of like just did speak a few weeks ago, is about make sure that your tank is full as well, for you to be able to support someone fully. And, you know, I'm just sort of like so proud of what you guys have done, because I think, you know, as a community, if I can actually just speak for the Black community, this is not conversations that we have. Mm-hmm. It's not spoken about. It's a shame. You can't show your vulnerability, and we are laying it bare and saying, this is us, this is what happened to us. And I think, you know, by just doing that, you know, you just don't realize how you're encouraging other people to say it's okay not to be okay. And it's also okay to talk about these issues. And I heard you talk about, you know, the social media and, you know, the trolls. And I think stepping back and actually looking at it, again, that's trauma. I don't think there's anyone who chooses to be horrible to anyone unless there's something that you have not dealt with yourself. So this is, I see this as change. We are changing the connotation of actually understanding why people behave in a certain way, and actually, instead of that, speaking up.
Very good insight. Thank you.
That was deep right there. I would say this in respect to 10 Star. It's not the first time that he said that. It's not even the first time that he shut Facebook down, to be honest with you. I think it was through our encouragement. We were like, hey, you know, no, don't worry about this, that, and the other, but it's something about it that offends him, the way people come off. You know what I mean? Somebody's always throwing words here, there, and everywhere.
It's the devil's playground. That's how
it is to an, it is. Yeah. However, even for myself, I've just learned that as soon as I see something, I'm like, yeah, that's not even right. I dismiss it, because I said, a lot of people really, really feed into things, and then it takes them somewhere else, and then it feeds into something else. It's like a vicious cycle. But when I see that negativity though, that's dismissed. Because I said, evidently that's something, whatever prompted that individual to post something like that is something that they're going through. I can't help them. They're going to have to seek help elsewhere. So I don't even take it as something real. It's their projections of whatever traumas or triggers that is manifesting itself on social media, just to get that response. You know what I mean? People feed into that. I know of a person recently, I don't even want to say her name. She's very beautiful. She's a Rastafarian, and you could tell that she's mixed. I think she's originally from Trinidad, and this young lady posted something very recent, and it triggered so much that I don't know why she would make a statement like that. She's making a statement about her Blackness, which is beautiful. But if you look at her, you can see that she's very mixed, very Indian-y looking and blah, blah, blah. What's the word? I don't choose to be with the white man. And some other stuffs, people are not going to like what I say. And in my head, and this is somebody that I know, and in my head, I was like, what would prompt you to make a statement like that? She's a model. Number two, she's a model, all about the Rastafarianism, all about this, that, and the other. And you make a statement like that. Behind the statement, she said, I know a lot of people's not going to like what I say, but I'm just speaking my truth. And I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out what the statement is. What people came back at her was, you look like you're a mixed individual. Why did you mention you won't really mess with a white man and blah, blah, blah. And that started a firestorm of, I'm Black and I'm proud. And I was like, the point I'm trying to make is, why would you make a statement like that? Not knowing that there's a firestorm coming behind you because you don't look Black, but you made that statement. To me, that just shows you're not completely comfortable with your identity. Why you would make a statement like that? Sounds like it to me. But point being, it's situations like that start trouble. You start firestorms, different places, and people turning against each other. It's those and this is somebody that I know. I didn't respond. I didn't like it. My husband and I are friends with this individual. And for that reason, this is somebody that comes to my home. He cut her off right away. He said, no, I will not entertain that. I will not entertain that.
I think it's very, very important when you realize how far you've come in life, you have to be very, very zero tolerant about the next, number of years of your life and what you choose to, take in and what we have to filter out. There's so much negativity in this world that needs filtering out. You just got to be zero tolerant. Since doing this show, I think I've just been more aware and more awake of everything that is going on around me, and my happiness is number one. That's not up for negotiation. So
Star, you raised your hand. Star was going to say something.
Yeah, I think the only thing I wanted to say is I think what we need to try and practice a bit more and to always step back and reflect on is you have got only control about things that you can control yourself within your limits. There's some things that are beyond your control. You can't influence what someone's going to say, how they're going to react. It's about what you do about it yourself. And if it's taking yourself out of the Facebook for some time to just regain and make sense of the situation, that's absolutely fine. And, I think it's just learning to protect you and stepping back all the time and recognizing if something doesn't serve you well, then you've got a choice to do something about it.
Right.
That's it. And I think that's the other part of the coin is knowing that Facebook really doesn't serve me well, especially for the promoting of things that I'm doing, it's ineffective, so I'm just looking for other platforms to promote what we're doing, because I believe in, everything that we're doing right here, so Anybody would like to say anything? Anybody who's
Yeah,
part of the audience? Sorry, go ahead, Sharon.
sorry, before we get to the audience, a question was asked from Red Rose to explain what PWS is.
Oh, PWS.
Yeah, it's a peer wellness specialist, and you have like things that you've gone through that you can share with somebody that's going through their own struggles. So you kind of help them up. Yeah, I've gone through addiction struggles. So one of my things is adult addictions. And I've had many people in my building and homeless folks that suffer from addiction struggles, and I can relate with that. The peer wellness specialist is able to take them to doctor's appointments,
Oh, wow.
different things, and basically help them navigate through the system, and hopefully get them to a better lifestyle where they're making better choices for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's actually very cool.
Right.
Wow.
Sharon, can you lead us to the next stage, and then we shall end the show because of time?
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to say, let me see, Lerner Finley, I think he was on last time. He said something to Red Rose to take and share your healing to a wider audience is admirable, a show of strength and shows much growth. Big up yourself for your courage. Thank you, Lerner.
Much love.
Yes, that was really nice. If there's anybody else before we leave that wanted to.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So we're saying thank you, Red Rose.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes,
My
good
name
evening.
is Faith.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Faith, and I'm streaming from Nigeria, Lagos State to Lere. I got the invite from Miss Gloria Jemidafe, and I want to share an experience I think I've had in life.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. This experience actually. Okay, I'm going to start like this. I lost my parents at a tender age, so I had to go from one house to another house. It was really traumatizing because the experience were not that nice. Being in the house with someone that having confidence in yourself is a problem. You're not supposed to have confidence. You're just supposed to be there and not have an opinion for yourself. You know, just be a shadow. Just always be in the shadow. And then it was so traumatizing that I don't like being in the public. I don't like going to public places. I always want to be, because I feel like I don't fit in there. I can't talk when others are talking, like my peers are talking, because it broke my self-confidence. Even in school, when others are sitting in front, I would always go and sit in the back seat because I feel like I'm not supposed to be seated there. And then it also affected my learning because you feel like, okay, yeah, you're not supposed to be there, so why are you there? So it makes you like you don't have low self-esteem.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I now had low self-esteem until like it kept on going till I graduated from the university. I still had the issues because I was still staying in the house. And then I didn't go out, no friends. I couldn't talk to anybody. The only places I go to were the market and then church. Those were the only places I could go to. And then sometimes when you go to uncle's house, they want to. So many experiences I had that actually affected my mental health so much until last year. What I did was I prayed to God. I wanted to leave the house, and then He answered my prayer. I was able to leave the house. So when I left the house, I had to now start staying alone with my cousin. That way, I started helping myself to overcome my fears. I first of all had to discover what my fears were. Being in public, talking, having like even when I came here, initially I was scared of talking. I'm like, what do I have to say? I had to now say no. This is it again. It's coming back. So in order to overcome it, I had to now say something like, yes, this is it. So first of all, it's how I'm overcoming it, because I think once in a while I still feel that way. It's facing my fears and believing in myself that I'm actually supposed to be there, and I'm actually supposed to be doing what I'm doing, and I'm actually great, and I'm not useless like they say, and I keep talking positive to myself, and it's been helping. Really, it's been helping. Yeah.
Hi, Faith. You came in late, but it's good to. Sorry, everyone. Faith is so Faith is an actress. She's an upcoming. Yeah, let me not call her upcoming. She's doing good back here in Nigeria. I kind of. She's a special girl. I did invite her, but I didn't even know she's on. So yeah, I'm sure we will definitely hear. Faith, it's good to have you on. I didn't know you were on.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Maybe Sharon or Tenstar will get to you, and she has a lot of interesting stuff that also will help this whole mental health issue, because I think we're out of time. I don't think she can tell you half of what I've heard, but Faith, thank you for showing up on the show.
Thank you.
What I would love for you to do, Gloria, when we have our next meeting, make sure you bring her name up, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I will.
We would love to have her on and share her story. And
yeah, we thank her for sharing a bit of her story.
Thank you, Faith. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else would like to say anything? Anybody else before we end the show? Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone who logged into the show today. Most especially, I want to thank Red Rose. You've come a long way, my brother. And now you have an army of brothers and sisters right behind you, so you ain't lacking, no way, no how. You multiplied by 100.
Thank you all.
God bless you. And we're going to be back here. Let's have a look at the calendar. When we're going to be back here?
Well,
it's the last Sunday, right?
Yeah, last Sunday of every month.
26th of March will be the next show.
Right, on mental health.
Yeah. And we'll get together way before that in our meeting. We'll discuss where we head to from here. But we're going to be back on the 26th of March. And we want to thank each and everyone for being here. All right. Anything you want to say, Sharon, before we sign out?
Yeah, thank you again, Red Rose. We'll be talking. Thank you so much for sharing, your life story and your inspiration. You're now an inspiration to many. When people hear your story, you're going to be such a big inspiration. And I thank you so much. Thanks to all who said kind words. Star, thank you so much. Rankin Ann, DJ Maestro, our team. Thank you guys so much. Again, we'll be back with the mental health show every last Sunday of every month. During that time, we'll have our regular guests. The next guest coming up on the 4th will be Top Cat, and then the next on the 5th is Ravon, and we'll let the details. Yeah, we got people coming. So thanks to SPRB Radio's team and all our guests who joined today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. Right, Tenstar, you have any nice music for play out? Some nice little music.
Okay, go on.
We should ask Red Rose to play out for us.
You know what I mean? Do you see in the background? Yes.
You take requests. You take requests.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you
Do you
what.
have any Delroy McLean?
Delroy McLean.
Biddy McLean?
Betty McLean. Do I? I think I've got his entire catalogue.
Me too.
Run tune, 10 Star. Run tune, brother.
Anyway, let me just play something quick. Let me just scroll through the hundreds of songs that I got. I'll tell you, here's one.
So you hit the scene and be real keen and be on Jolly Bean. But don't call the cop by sound and musical top. Cop!
It's gonna come up a bit more. Wait. It's falling out. B.
How does it sound now?
Sometimes sometimes cry, sometimes low, sometimes high. There's no use in trying to understand if broken hearts can mend. Don't you know? There's no ifs, buts, and nowhere. Just nature's plan. 'Cause it's all a part of love. When we fall in and out of love, sometimes sweet, swing and dine, and dine. Sometimes shy, come on,
from Stockholm.
sometimes try.
Well, that's all, folks. Fine, babe. Let a star do this. That's all, folks.
Can I go home now? It's Star General from Starcade Promotions, and I'm out of here.
If you enjoy the content we provide on this YouTube channel, then why not help us by subscribing to SPRB Radio Podcast? Thank you in advance.